Hi guys, and welcome to another Mental Monday. So I had a really fun weekend. I got to go see my family again and actually celebrate two of my nephew's birthdays. My youngest nephew turned 3 and my oldest nephew turned 11. That makes me feel so old, but it was a lot of fun. We went to the zoo and then had hot dogs and barbecue at the park across the street and really delicious cake, and then I got to spend some time with my mom, which was really nice also. So it is Monday, and that means Mental Monday time, and I wanted to continue the series we had been doing with the mental disorders, and this week is gonna cover bipolar 2. Last week I covered bipolar 1. So just off the top, there's a lot of different information you can find online. If you just Google bipolar 1 or bipolar 2, there's a ton of information. So I thought I would kind of summarize all of it and give you my understanding of what bipolar 2 really is. So bipolar 2 is the less severe, more on the depressive side of bipolar, as bipolar disorder is the umbrella disorder. Bipolar 1 and bipolar 2 are kind of the offsets of it, and there's different ways of diagnosing which one you are. So bipolar 2 is a less severe type of bipolar, and it focuses more on the depressive side rather than the manic side. To get a medical official diagnosis of bipolar 2, you want to see depressive symptoms including sadness or hopelessness, hypomanic symptoms, which is a persistently elevated or irritable mood, and it involves, I'm just reading from what I found, it involves at least one depressive episode lasting at least 2 weeks and at least one hypomanic episode lasting at least 4 days. The episodes are not short little just emotional moments. They are episodes. It's for a time period. It's not just a little moment they have. So the main difference between 1 and 2 are 2 doesn't really have manic episodes, they have hypomanic episodes, and there is a difference. And they have more depressive episodes than 1. They're more on the depressive side is what I mean. And then the similarities, there are similarities as well. They both have depressive episodes. They're the medication you're given to treat bipolar 2 is very similar to bipolar 1. It's a lot of mood stabilizers, there's antipsychotics that help. There's all of that kind of for both help you level out and can relieve those symptoms and those episodes, those feelings. And there's a lot of the same symptoms, it's just the severity is different. What it says under people may experience is mood swings, anxiety, deep sadness, euphoria, general discontent, guilt, hopelessness, or inability to feel pleasure, which a lot of those are also bipolar 1. Compulsive behavior, impulsivity, irritability, restlessness, or self-harm, which is also bipolar 1, but I would say those are probably more intense with bipolar 2, just with it being more on the depressive side. Lack of concentration, racing thoughts, slowness in activity, or thoughts of suicide, which are also bipolar 1, and with it being on the depressive side, things that come more through depression than mania will be more severe depending which one you have. Depression or grandiosity, and then rapid and frenzied speaking in an episode, I think. That is bipolar 2. The experience I have with bipolar is very, very limited, really. I have had 1 or 2 friends that are bipolar that, to be honest, I would not have fully been able to tell what it was going on. I knew they were struggling with stuff and they told me they were struggling with stuff, and I was trying to think of ways to help them, and I was trying to be really encouraging, and then they told me that they had been diagnosed bipolar, and that was why they struggled with the depression and everything. And as the friend, I really wanted to understand, to be able to be sensitive to what they were struggling with, to be able to understand why they were struggling. And so then when I took psychology classes that talked about bipolar disorder, because I had known a little bit about bipolar but not a ton, I was super interested to learn how it worked and kind of how it affected somebody that was diagnosed with it, somebody that had it, and what it is they generally struggle with. And then you can be sensitive to it. You can understand what they're going through, because I think everybody has little moments of that. Everybody has really down days, and everybody has times of being in a funk that they can't get out of. And that's not to say that that's bipolar disorder, but that's a lesser version of bipolar. Like, that's just a little taste of what bipolar disorder is. So you have like well, yeah, I only had that and that sucked, so to struggle with all of that, can't even imagine. So I don't have a ton of direct experience with it, just because the friend that I do have that has it hasn't actually had episodes with me around it all. So I've seen them be depressed, I've seen them struggle emotionally with stuff, I've seen them go through a lot of stuff, and they have talked about having thoughts of suicide. They had made a lot of progress in figuring out what they needed by the time I really got in the picture. And that is another whole part of it, is the behavioral patterns that the disorders manifest. And I know I've talked about it can look different in everybody for all three of these that I've talked about so far, but that can be such a key factor in how somebody is diagnosed with something or what they might be diagnosed with, because it can mean the difference between, if you did this certain way, you most certainly should be diagnosed with this. But if you do it this way, you are definitely this, not this now. So it can be super specific, and it can be a huge tool that psychologists use to tell the difference and really read behind the scenes what is going on to be able to tell. That always makes me think of Lie to Me or Criminal Minds, which are TV shows I certainly love, where it's behavioral analysis, which is what I'm working on my master's degree in, is reading the behavior to be able to tell what's going on and to be able to use that to either diagnose somebody or get more information just to be able to help them. Obviously in the TV shows that's not what it's for, but that is the general psychologist's use for it. So behavior is a really important factor, and I don't want to miss that at all. But I would encourage you, if you do know somebody that was diagnosed bipolar 1, bipolar 2, borderline personality disorder, to respectfully ask the questions you have. If there's parts of it that you're seeing that you just don't understand, ask them if they're okay with you asking questions, and then try to be really sensitive while genuinely showing that you want to understand and you have a desire to support them and understand where they're coming from to the best of your ability. And they're really gonna appreciate that, and they're gonna notice the difference between somebody that's not trying to understand and somebody that really wants to understand and really just cares about them. If you know somebody that is, I would encourage you to do that. And that is kind of my goal with doing this series of videos, is so people can understand it better and it doesn't have such a stigma. It isn't something we're so scared to face because we understand it a little better. So that is this week's Mental Monday. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you in some way and encouraged you and gave you just a little understanding, a little taste of what bipolar 2 disorder is. If you haven't seen the other ones, I did bipolar 1 and borderline personality disorder. Still working on what next week's one is going to be, but it should be a fun one. So thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with all of your friends. Get the information out there. I would love to hear a comment if you have bipolar yourself or if you know somebody that does, and share your thoughts, your opinions, your experiences. I would love to hear those stories. And if you are not already subscribed, please click subscribe so you can see when the next video comes out. And I'll see you guys in that. Bye!